The countdown is on. Less than 2 weeks until the official start of the Formula One World Championship in Australia. Ferrari, a legendary team with a long history in this racing event, still has many secrets. They have not fully revealed the capabilities of their latest car, the SF25. However, rumors behind the scenes say that we have not seen the half of its true potential. Is this a sign that Ferrari will be the main threat this season? And is Lewis Hamilton capable of starting his debut with Ferrari with a historic victory? Let's discuss it in detail. Charles Leclerc seems to be very cautious about predicting Ferrari's performance this season, while Lewis Hamilton has not even completed his latest race simulation. During pre-season testing at the Sakir circuit in Bahrain, the SF25 did not immediately appear as the fastest car, and its lap times were not as impressive in the eyes of observers and insiders from rival teams. Nevertheless, the car still shows a promising potential, especially in several technical aspects that show improvements compared to the previous season. However, there are still a number of challenges to overcome before Ferrari can truly position itself as a major contender at the top. In Maranello, the engineers are working non-stop to calibrate various parameters that are considered crucial for the SF25's performance on the track. Several aerodynamic changes and suspension setups are still being tested to find the best balance between straight-line speed and cornering stability. Engineers are also focusing on engine reliability and tire degradation efficiency, which are often the deciding factors in long race strategies. As a result, the results of the pre-season tests cannot be used to assess the pure speed of the car. Only at the first race of the season in Melbourne, Australia, will we see how far Ferrari can compete with Red Bull, Mercedes, and other teams in real race conditions. I prefer to wait before I say whether this car is fast or not, said Leclerc, who is usually quite vocal in assessing Ferrari's performance. According to him, only in Melbourne will the team be able to truly understand the potential of the SF25, when all elements, from car setup to race strategy to tire performance, are in top condition. On the other hand, Red Bull admitted that their own testing was not entirely satisfactory. While the team remains optimistic about the new season, they are aware that there are still areas that need to be improved before they are truly ready to compete at the top. One of the main concerns is how their car reacts in different track conditions, especially in terms of tire degradation and aerodynamic efficiency during long stints. Interestingly, Red Bull actually see Ferrari as McLaren's closest rival, although McLaren themselves do not seem to see Ferrari as a major threat. This leads to speculation. Are Ferrari still hiding their true potential during testing? It could be that the Maranello team prefers a conservative approach to avoid too much attention from their rivals, or they are still in the stage of refining their technical concept before really showing their best performance in the first race of the season. Ferrari's testing program in Bahrain focused more on understanding the mechanical underpinnings of the SF25. The main focus was on optimizing the car's response to setup changes and improving the efficiency of tire management. The car is said to have a stronger front end than its predecessor, giving it an advantage in corner entry speed. However, changes to the inverted pull rod suspension system need to be explored further, particularly in terms of balancing performance between stability in fast corners and traction in slow corners. While Ferrari leaves Bahrain with a number of questions unanswered, they have also gained some important reassurances. One positive is that there was no significant difference between the aerodynamic data from the wind tunnel test and the results obtained on track. This reassures the team, as Frederic Vasseur confirms, that so far everything is going according to plan. With a better understanding of their car, Ferrari are looking to start the season with more confidence, although how much improvement they will show in the early races remains a big question mark. Meanwhile, McLaren, considered to be one of the strongest contenders this season, are not resting on their laurels either. The Woking outfit continue to evaluate every aspect of their car's performance and are aware that this season's competition will be fiercer than ever. With several major teams still hiding potential, this season could be one of the most interesting in recent years. To reduce uncertainty before the race in Australia, Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc underwent 3 days of intensive simulation sessions at Maranello. The aim of these sessions is to better understand the characteristics of the SF25 car and to find solutions to the problems that still exist, particularly with regard to the balance between the front and rear of the car. One of the main challenges is to improve the stability of the rear of the car, which is still considered to be less than optimal. The SF25 itself is the result of extensive work to redistribute weight and reduce the size of the transmission. This change is not just a simple modification, but a big step in the effort to expand the setup range and create a more advanced and efficient weight distribution. With this change, it is hoped that the car will be more competitive in different track conditions and provide more consistent performance throughout the race. As part of their extensive preparations, Ferrari also tested their two old F1 cars, the SF90 and SF21, on track. The aim of this test was to gain a better understanding of how the characteristics of the Australian track would affect the performance of their new car. The data collected from both cars was then analyzed and compared with simulation results to ensure that the setup of the SF25 could be optimized. Ferrari has also made a number of technical updates to the SF25 ahead of the Australian Grand Prix. The car will return to the track in different conditions than at the previous race in Bahrain. The most significant improvements are focused on the rear of the car, adopting several elements of the configuration that will be used in the 2022 season. This is to improve aerodynamic stability and give the drivers more flexibility to adapt the car's setup to different track conditions. The 2025 season looks set to be one of the most competitive in recent years. McLaren are currently emerging as a team to watch after a promising performance in Bahrain. The Woking-based team look more confident than last season, especially after successfully securing their first constructors' title since 1998. With the rapid development they have shown, McLaren could be a serious threat to Ferrari and Red Bull in the chase for this season's title. However, Red Bull is not sitting still. The team, which has dominated F1 in recent years, remains the main contender on the grid. Red Bull senior consultant, Helmut Marko, admitted that based on pre-season test data, McLaren appeared superior in both short and long-distance simulations. However, he also stressed that these early results cannot be used as the main benchmark, as car developments throughout the season could still change the competitive landscape. Pierre Wach, Red Bull's technical director, also highlighted the innovative design that McLaren have implemented this season. One of the most interesting aspects is their unique front suspension system. Their front suspension is very interesting, but also very risky. We'll see if they can make it work well in different race conditions, he said. If this system can provide aerodynamic and stability benefits, McLaren could be even harder to beat. On the other hand, team strategy and rivalry between drivers could also be decisive factors in the title race. Marko hopes that the two McLaren drivers, Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, can steal points from each other. If that happens, Red Bull and Ferrari can take advantage of the situation to stay in contention. Ferrari themselves are continuing to develop their car and are trying to ensure that they can be more competitive in Australia. With various improvements and in-depth data analysis from simulation sessions and track tests, the team is determined to challenge McLaren and Red Bull for victory. There is still a long way to go in the season, and with the ongoing developments, the battle between Ferrari, Red Bull and McLaren is sure to get even more interesting. The race in Australia will be the first test to see how far Ferrari can go and whether the improvements they have made will produce the expected results. With the new season just around the corner, the biggest question is, who will come out on top in Australia? Have Ferrari been hiding their true strength during testing, and are they ready to storm the opening race with a bang? Or will McLaren, who showed significant improvements last season, prove to be the strongest team at the moment and claim victory in Melbourne? On the other hand, Red Bull, who have dominated the last few seasons, are still a big threat, but have they found the perfect balance in their car development? Or will the challenge from their rivals be greater and be able to shake the dominance they have built? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.